The police found two bodies. That's it. A stark, horrifying fact. Now, that's usually the end of a story, right? Well, for us, that's exactly where we're going to start. Today, we're digging into a story about a school trip that just went so wrong. We're going to try and piece together what happened that one night based on the only account from someone who actually made it out. And that's the big question, isn't it? What really happened that night? I mean, was it just a straightforward crime, like the police believed? Or was there something else going on, something much darker? Let's follow the breadcrumbs, both the official story and the local legend, and see where they lead. All right, let's get into it. So we're starting at the end, with the discovery of these two bodies and the two completely conflicting stories that popped up right after. So just try to picture this for a second. A kid, Ayush. He wakes up and he's totally confused. He's not in the forest where he blacked out. No, he's somehow back in his hotel room. He scrambles outside and right away his heart just sinks. There's a ton of police everywhere. And on the ground, two shapes covered by white sheets. He knows, just knows who's under there. His friends, Rohan and Aman. For the cops, the answer was easy. This was a homicide, open and shut case. But for Ayush, the only one who survived, that official story didn't even come close to explaining the absolute terror of what he'd been through. So how did they even get to that point? To really get what happened, we've got to rewind. Go all the way back to a school bus that broke down and a single decision that basically sealed their fate. It all started as a totally normal school trip to Shimla. But late one night, bam, the bus just dies. They're stranded. So the teachers find the nearest hotel they can, this really isolated place, kind of stuck between these huge mountains and a really thick, dark forest. It was just supposed to be a place to crash for the night. Up in their room, Ayush and his two best friends, Aman and Rohan, are looking out the window. And that's when they see it. Way out in the trees, a little shimmer of water. A lake. And seeing that lake, well, it gave them an idea. And here's the thing that gets me. Their whole plan, it was it was just a teenage thing, you know? They weren't trying to cause any real trouble. They just wanted to be cool. They'd heard stories about other kids becoming legends at school for pulling off something similar. So the plan was simple. Sneak out, grab some epic photos by the lake, and boom, instant popularity back at school. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? And this, right here, is the moment a silly plan for schoolyard fame turns into an actual fight to survive. This timeline just lays out how quickly things went sideways. At 11 o'clock, they're just three teenagers on a little adventure. An hour later, they're lost. And by 1 in the morning, something else has joined them. The whole night just comes apart, hour by terrifying hour, all leading up to that final showdown in the ruins. Turns out the lake was way further than it looked. The woods got thicker, it got cold, and of course, no cell service. So they made the smart call. Okay, let's just go back. But when Ayush and Aman turned around, Rohan was gone. Just poof, vanished into the pitch black forest. So they're frantically searching for him. And then they find him. But it's not him. You see the difference here, right? On the one hand, you have Rohan, their buddy from school. And on the other, you have this thing. It was literally digging a hole in the ground with its bare hands. And when it turned around, its eyes were completely black. And the strength, wow. It had this bizarre, inhuman strength. It just tossed Armin across the clearing like he was nothing. So after that terrifying moment, the thing inside Rohan just collapses. But the horror, oh, it's far from over. It just finds a new person to jump into, and it leads them straight into the heart of all this darkness. Just as Rohan is sort of coming to his senses, Aman just drops to the ground. And when he looks back up, yep, his eyes are black too. Before anyone can even react, Aman is up and running, sprinting deeper into the woods toward this dark shape against the skyline, some kind of old, busted-up house. They had no choice but to follow him inside. And what they saw in there, it was just impossible. Aman was just floating, unconscious in the middle of the air. And in front of him was this old woman, whispering something to him. Ayush and Rohan were just frozen, completely paralyzed with fear. And this was it, the source of it all. Her face was just a nightmare, sagging skin, scraggly white hair, and her eyes, They were the same deep, empty black holes they'd seen in their friends. They finally snapped out of it and just ran for their lives. As they were scrambling down the stairs, they made the mistake of looking back. The old woman was coming after them, but she wasn't walking. She was crawling down the steps, all wrong, like some kind of giant insect, her body bending in ways it just shouldn't. Their escape from that house leads them right back where they started. Full circle. And this is where the police report and the local folklore finally smash into each other. They burst through the tree line, and where do they end up? Right on the shore of the very lake they were looking for in the first place. They both stumble into the water, but then something grabs Rohan's leg, and Ayush can only watch, completely helpless, as his best friend gets dragged under the water. It's the last thing he remembers before everything goes black. Okay, so this is where it all comes to a head. You've got two completely different stories that just don't line up at all. The official police report, it calls it a murder. Simple, clean, case closed. But the local legend, oh, that tells a very different story. A story about a woman who was murdered a long time ago, and her body was dumped in that exact same lake. And they say her spirit never left. This is the absolute key to the whole thing. According to the people who actually live there, anyone who goes near that lake after dark becomes a target for her revenge. So this thing wasn't just some random evil. It had a reason. And that's the real tragedy here, isn't it? It was a local ghost story, a warning they just never got to hear. They weren't bad kids. They were just totally unaware of the dark history of the ground they were walking on. And that leaves us with one last, really chilling question to think about. Was this whole tragedy just a series of bad decisions? Or was it just terrible, rotten luck? Think about it. One single thing, the bus breaking down, kicked this whole nightmare off. If that one thing hadn't happened, if the bus had just kept going, would all three of them be alive today?
If you like this video, please subscribe the channel. Thank you.